What's going on, everybody? AJ Capasso here from Talking with the Source and Coventry Circle Paranormal. I am here with my two good friends. One at the bottom,
Robin from Hawthorne Paranormal.
And
Jonathan from JK47 Paranormal.
Hey, well, first off, before we get into our awesome guests that we're having today, I first want to say a shout out to Parapost Network. We are live right now on Parapost Network, the home of basically amazing paranormal podcasts, amazing people, an amazing community. So if you're watching this, head over to the Parapost Network Facebook, like, follow, just do everything you can and watch all these amazing podcasts that are on there. They're just amazing people. I mean, there's not much more I can say to that, right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, FCD Ghost Boxes. You can go on www.fcdboxes.uk.co and check out the spirit boxes that Nigel Mortimer is making. They're absolutely quality built, and it's not just an adjustable sweep spirit box. It's also, it could turn into a portal where you could use your own apps or other spirit boxes if you'd like. So we're super happy to be sponsored by them as well. And so today, guys, we are going to have on Gene and Ed from OTR Paranormal. This is a serious paranormal group with serious research behind them. An amazing large group. We only have two of them on today, but let me tell you, I had them on in the beginning, and they are just amazing people. So if you guys want to bring Gene and Ed in, I mean, let's get going. Hey, Gene. Hey, Ed. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, guys.
So first, Ed, where are you right now? I know you're in the truck driving.
I'm up by Tallahassee right at the moment. I'm headed for home.
Awesome. Yeah, Ed is actually, he's a truck driver, amazing dude, amazing friend of mine. And I give credit, I would never be able to drive far distance like you, my friend. And Gene, I just want everyone to see Gene for a sec. She's an amazing researcher with Ed. And John, can you pull her up for me?
Yeah.
And I've started traveling long distances as well. I just got back from Bretton Woods, New Hampshire.
Oh, my. Look, making me look like a wuss, I tell you. Being me out. That's awesome. So, Gene, the first question I wanted to ask you, because we were talking before this, was can you tell my host and the guests that haven't seen you on Parapost and everything yet, can you tell them a little bit about, the parapsychology, the Ryan Institute, the stuff that you were involved with that we were just talking about?
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize just how much science and how much backing there really is behind the study of the paranormal. A lot of people have basically a television education. They're replicating what they see on TV. And unfortunately, that's really not great because those people are entertainers and they don't always set the best example. So actually, parapsychology goes all the way back to the 1800s. And the study of it really goes back even further than that, but organized research goes back to the 1800s in the UK, where Robin's from, when the Society for Psychical Research was founded. And it came over to the United States with the American Society for Psychical Research. And then in 1927, Duke University picked it up. They had a parapsychology laboratory, which is now the Rhine Research Center in Durham, North Carolina. And people can actually go to the Rhine Research Center. They can follow the current research that's being done. They can see the studies as they're happening. They can follow all of the current events, and they can even take classes.
Wow. Go ahead, John. You want to ask a question?
Oh, no. I just, like everybody, there's, I started out a couple of years ago, and I just threw myself to the wolves and stuff. So I guess, what was your first experience? What got you, motivated to do that?
That's really hard to say. I actually grew up in a haunted house.
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't realize that the things were happening were unusual until I started watching, and it's still my favorite show, Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing the things on Unsolved Mysteries and the way that they were talking about them. And I said, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And so then it dawned on me, okay, there's something going on here that is not happening at other homes. And I mean, I inherited the house that I grew up in. I still own that house. It is still, to this day, I mean, I've been to many, many places, some of the most haunted places in America. And the home I grew up in is still the most active I've ever been in.
Wow. Wow.
Nice.
You would never think that, huh? I know.
I even got married at the Marshall House in Savannah. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, is your husband into it as well? Is he into the paranormal?
No, actually, he's the opposite. He is a hardcore skeptic.
Oh, okay.
And the poor guy, I dragged him on an investigation in St. Augustine. We went to the lighthouse, and it was a phenomenal event. I made contact through the spirit box. And, the St. Augustine Lighthouse is known for the Pity Sisters who drowned. It's known for the captain. He was a lighthouse keeper. He fell off of the lighthouse while he was painting it. There's been a lot of deaths on the property. So
Wow.
all of their spirits are attributed to the property.
Wow.
But the person I made contact with wasn't related to the property. He
Wow.
was a sailor who had wrecked off the shoreline. And he had come in with some of the artifacts that were being displayed in an archaeological exhibit.
Wow.
So, and I was in the parlor and I started getting somebody yelling, basement, go to the basement.
Yeah.
My husband heard the whole thing and he followed us all through the whole thing. And this man told us that he had wrecked and that he belonged to the exhibit. And he even led us to a case of spoons. And he says, spoon. And
Wow.
I said, well, which spoon is yours? And he says, the broken one. And
Whoa.
there were 3 broken spoons in there. But then after that, we lost contact. We couldn't reach him again. And afterwards, I said to him, do you see now what happens? And he goes, I didn't see anything.
Oh, yeah.
But he is my greatest supporter. He's a huge help. And he's an engineer, software engineer.
Oh,
he is building the platform for Para-Atlas, which is going to be a collaborative platform for researchers and investigators to be able to work together, share their evidence, and access basically archives and all of the historical data for the locations that are advertised as haunted.
That is awesome.
Oh, wow.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing.
Wow. Hey, so hold on. I want to switch between you guys so I can put you guys on the screen. But John, can you put Ed up quick? Ed, I wanted to ask you basically the same question. Can you tell all our viewers and could you tell all my new hosts that you haven't seen before? Tell them a little bit about yourself and what got you into it. What was your first experience?
Well, like Gene, it's really hard to nail down a single first experience because so many things happened in my life growing up. But probably the most defining experience that I haven't been able to find an explanation for. I was living in upstate New York. I was quite young yet. I was probably maybe about 5 or 6 years old, and woke up after a thunderstorm had gone through overnight. I mean, we lived up in the Catskill Mountains, up the Schoharie, Cobleskill area. And as I came downstairs from my bedroom, there was a window that looked out over the sweet pea field. And if you're familiar at all with like the little lightning bolt thing that the cartoon character Zeus will throw around.
Yeah.
This whole sweet pea field had thousands of those lightning bolt shapes stuck in the ground, glowing.
Wow.
And, they eventually just like disappeared, but I never could, to this day, I still can't find an explanation for what that was, what caused it, where it came from, or even a name for it, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
Since then, I've been curious about all kinds of interesting things ever since my earliest childhood.
Yeah, no, we were actually talking right before we started, and like I was telling the guys, one of the craziest things was when you were telling me about how you were into, the Bigfoot, studies and stuff like that, and just being an all around, paranormal, researcher, I just find amazing. I mean, that's something that is just super intriguing and stuff. And so I wanted to ask each of you individually. I know you guys recently invited us to the Bobby Mackey's this past year. I forget the other one. Was it Ashmore Estates or was it what was the two other ones? I know you said Bobby Mackey, and there was two other places you guys went.
We went to Ashmore Estates first. Yeah. Then we went to I can't remember the cemetery in Cincinnati. We went to. We did some debunking of some theories going on in there. Yeah. And then we went down to Bobby Mackey's. So it was a really big weekend. It was a lot of investigating, a lot of experiments.
Awesome.
A lot of fun. Exhausting, but a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Gene, I'm sorry. What would you say? Go ahead, John.
I said, but not a lot of sleep.
Not a lot of sleep? No? Hey, so, Gene, tell us. Everyone, obviously only sees really Bobby Mackey's unless they, go there and investigate. Tell me, what is it like there? Is it the portal to hell?
I mean, it's not comfortable. It's very hot.
Okay.
It is moldy. You smell a lot of stale beer.
Ooh.
But it's not the portal to hell. First of all of the history that the shows tell you about the satanic rituals in the basement, the beheadings, the poisoning, none of those happened. Now, Pearl Bryan, she absolutely was beheaded 4 miles away. Okay. They didn't actually, and I have the book right here that covers the entire case on Pearl Bryan's murder.
Wow. See?
Now back then, yes, it was a bar. It was a distillery at the time. But Scott Jackson went north after killing Pearl Bryan and then back into Cincinnati, and that's where her head was found, in Cincinnati.
Wow.
So they were never at Bobby Mackey's.
Mm.
Yeah.
Those wells. To the murder at all. I'm sorry?
Wasn't connected to the murder at all.
Right.
Mm.
Now those wells are from the distillery, the one in the basement. There's actually 3 of them on the property. But the one in the basement is what people know because it's still visible.
Yeah.
So that's where they actually would drain off all the byproduct from distilling I believe it was whiskey they were building at the time, or making at the time.
Yeah. Now I heard, was it really a slaughterhouse at one point?
Yes.
Okay.
Prior to the 1850s.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I was wondering if that was true or if that was also fabricated. That's why I wanted to ask that question. Now, can you tell us maybe a little bit about what you guys got? I'm going to ask you, obviously, Gene, first, since you're on the screen. Then we'll switch to Ed on the screen. But please tell us a little bit about what you experienced, what you got while you were there.
We deployed a DVR system, lots of hand cams, digital recorders, the works. The only thing we got, I mean, personally, on my equipment, Ed and I, we have our own equipment. We both kind of double up on these investigations.
Yeah.
From my recorders, the only thing I got were some EVPs.
Okay.
And that was in the dressing rooms in the basement. Mostly a male's voice out of the dressing rooms. Okay. And there was a few, they were far between. And basically I left the recorder down there by itself while we were upstairs investigating.
Okay.
Now, the other one, I did get one while we were upstairs, and it's kind of weird. You hear me asking somebody to go pick up the GoPro camera because we were packing up, and you just hear what sounds like this woman's wail cut right over my voice.
Wow.
So she sounds not in distress, more excited.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, there was really nothing else going on. The levels of infrasound in there and the levels of EMF are off the charts.
Wow.
So hallucinations, irritations, headaches, you name it. People are going to experience a lot in there.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Because EMF and that infrasound, it can cause the body a lot of issues being
Absolutely.
exposed to for a long period of time, So I totally understand that. You know, knowing about you know, about high EMF levels, it's not obviously not good for us at all, like you said. Hey Ed, so how about you when you were there? What was some things that you personally experienced, and you know, did the high EMF infrasound, did that also cause some issues for you? Did you get a headache, sick, anything?
I didn't get any headaches. I mean, for me, it was just more the heat was a little, believe it or not, for me, the heat was a little uncomfortable, but I think that's just because the air wasn't moving that much. We had a lot of personal experiences. We had a lot of personal IDs, but we didn't. I actually had to have my the hard drive replaced on my computer, so I still need to go back through all the footage off of my equipment. But even between all the equipment that the two of us carry between ourselves, we didn't have nearly enough stuff to cover the entire thing of Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
So we, you know, there may be stuff that we completely missed just because we didn't have enough equipment, people to cover the building.
Yeah.
We had a couple of fun things happen. Gene scared the bejesus out of me at one point. I had gone off into the bull riding room and was sitting in a corner, just kind of scoping everything out because there was a rumor of an apparition that appeared over by one of the pool tables. So I was in there trying to see if we could connect on that or you know, make some kind of connection or communication. And Gene and Cindy heard something going on upstairs, and she come walking into the room, walking down the hallway, and when she come around the corner, you know, we scared the hell out of each other because I didn't know she was coming, and she thought I was upstairs.
Yeah, we were hearing footsteps and moving upstairs, so we thought Ed had gone upstairs.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is something similar like that happened to me and John when we were at the Montana State Prison, just me and him. And it was so funny because John, those stupid mannequins, right? In the pitch dark, right? Pitch dark. They got these like inmate mannequins. They got these like officer mannequins, and they're like doing stuff over the tiers. Now we're like three tiers up in a prison. We're like, all of a sudden, John, he made me poop myself, basically. I was so scared. And we have it on video. It was absolutely hilarious. And we said it earlier in the night, like when the lights go out, this is gonna suck. And we got scared for sure, you know. But we had a great time. So, but
yeah,
overall, go ahead, John.
We were on an intense search looking for this devil worshiper guy's cell, and we've been looking and I'm just concentrating on the cell. All of a sudden, that mannequin popped up right to my right, and I was like, ah!
Yeah, it screamed like a complete girl. It was great. So, tell me, Gene, I want to ask you first. How was Ashmore Estates? Tell us a little bit about what your guys' experience was like there.
That was terrifying for different reasons, and that's actually what I was thinking of when you were talking about mannequins, because there is a mannequin that they hid behind a door.
Okay.
And it has a bright pink wig.
Oh.
So it was somebody stuck it behind a door on the second or third floor, I forget, but it was basically you had to know it was there.
Oh.
It was very interesting. We had a lot of personal experiences at Ashmore, but it was very unique experience in terms that we had a guide, and her name was Susie. She was the caretaker for Ashmore Estates. She was on the premise with us.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, she started not feeling well. So she left. When she left, the activity stopped.
Wow.
And it was actually, I mean, it was instant. Like almost like she took it with her. So that was very interesting. Almost like they didn't like us being there.
Wow.
So, Ed almost got punched.
No way.
Almost got punched in the face.
Wait, human or ghost?
By me.
Oh man.
So Ashmore Estates is well known for two primary spirits, and that's Elva Skinner, a 4-year-old girl who died in a fire.
Yep.
And Joe Bloxam, a man who he was the caretaker there for many years, and he was struck by a train.
Ooh.
And he survived, but they brought him back to Ashmore Estates where he did pass away.
Okay.
And so those are two of the primary spirits people see there. Well, Elva likes to play games. So while we were getting the initial tour, showing, Susie was showing us around and we were deciding where to put the cameras, I felt somebody tug on the back of my shirt.
Yeah.
I looked around and Susie started laughing. She goes, "You felt something, didn't you?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Oh, that's Elva. She likes to tug on your clothes."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Okay." So we got up to the second floor and I was looking at a windowsill and I was trying to figure out how to mount the DVR camera to that. And I felt somebody poke my butt. And I spun around and Ed is standing right there.
Oh my gosh.
And Susie had to stop me. She goes, "It wasn't him."
Was it me?
She had seen it. She saw it happen because she saw me spin around and look. And I looked at Ed and she goes, "It wasn't him."
Wow. Wow.
So
That's wild.
We got a lot of activity while we were setting up, but once we had the equipment up, we didn't catch much. Another investigator and we were getting hit with rocks while we were setting up cameras.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were not able to obviously debunk it to find out anything. No, right? Yep.
My first thought was that they were coming from the ceiling, but the ceiling looks like it had been recently recovered or smoothed over. It wasn't crumbling at all.
Wow.
So
and you said it was coming. You said it was coming from above, like dropping down. It felt like at one point, or just throwing from the sideways.
We actually couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We just, because we were bent over, we were mounting a camera.
Oh, so
and we just felt it hitting our backs.
Oh, okay.
And we would turn, we would see it on the ground by us.
Yep.
And we wouldn't see anything. And then as soon as our back was turned again, we would feel it.
Wow.
So it was two of us there, and we were both getting hit.
Wow. That is, oof. I tell you, that. I mean, as much as I love this stuff, I tell you what, I'd still get creeped out like a little kid. But I'm like a kid in the candy shop with it, so I love it. But hey, guys, you have any questions for Gene before I switch to Ed and ask him?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna ask. We had Patty on the show last week, and she was talking about going to these locations with protection. What do you guys use to protect yourself from getting any attachments or anything following you home?
I mean, spiritually myself, I'm Wiccan, so I'm on a daily basis. I stay protected just to block out anything and everything. So
awesome.
I don't normally feel the need to do anything extra when I go into these locations. And in all honesty, if they want to come home with me, they're welcome to.
Yeah.
Don't tell my husband I said that. He says he's going to install a holy water sprinkler system. So.
Oh my gosh, poor guy. That's all right. Hey, so Ed, how about you? Tell us a little bit about what you guys experienced.
Well, Ashmore, of the three places we went, Ashmore was definitely my favorite. We had quite a few tag-along people with us on that one event, so we had extra bodies and extra hands to help do some things. Which added to the entertainment value for us because we had new people that we were watching and training and teaching. There was definitely, after Susie left, there was definitely a drop in activity, but it didn't completely die. There was at one point where Gene and Cindy were up on the third floor. I was in the basement with Michael and I can't remember that girl's name. But we were in the basement. We went all the way down into the boiler room, and we were checking the EMF and everything down there, which was ungodly high down there in a couple of spots. But while we were there, we heard this big metal bang. And we come up out of the boiler room, and Mike and his wife, Ilana, came out of the monitoring room, and they were like, did you guys do that? And I was like, and so back and forth, it's like, no, we didn't do that. Did you do it? Did you hear it? And we couldn't locate where this metal plate noise came from. So we had that really neat experience. And I think we've actually got that captured on audio.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then it was up on the third floor. There's one room that the wall is missing. So instead of being two rooms, it's a single room. We called it the divided room. And when we were doing the tour, when we crossed the line in the room, Jean had become ill. She got sick to her stomach. She didn't feel well. So we vacated the room. We decided we were going to set up a camera and a DV recorder in there, and digital recorder, I'm sorry. And we left them on remote. And partway through the evening, I went up. I had to change the batteries on the camera because we had it was another one of these cases where we had interesting battery drains. And I changed the battery in the camera, set it back up, turned it back on. When I turned around from the camera, I felt like somebody just punched me in the stomach or in the solar plexus. Just took the wind right out of me. Wow. I got on the radio. I told everybody up here quick.
Ed, you're breaking up a little.
We're losing you.
Hold on one
second. Can you
second.
still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
a
little better. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, changing towers up here on I-10.
Yeah, I know you're driving. So.
As everybody was coming up, I actually, have you ever had somebody like knuckle drive you in the back?
Yep.
You know, they just like stick their knuckle in your back and they just kind of force you to move one way or the other.
Yeah,
I had the same sensation. Actually put me down on the ground and was holding me there. I was being basically somebody was telling me to stay there. And once we got all the newbies out of the room, I had Gene stay behind, and we pulled up my shirt. We got a photograph, and you can actually see the mark on my back where somebody was like pushing below my shoulder blade, close to the center of my back. You can actually see a mark.
Oh wow! You're gonna have to send me that picture after, right? It was crazy, Gene, right?
Yeah, there's a definite mark there. It's very clear on the image.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
hey,
guys, he knew right where it was too. He pointed at his back. He goes, something hit me right here.
Oh wow.
And I said, yeah, I can see it.
Wow, that's so crazy. You know, I mean, oh man, you know, it's scary when that happens in a way, but also I find it so fascinating because it's like, you know, how is something that we obviously physically aren't seeing, you know, energy doing stuff like that, you know, and I find it so fascinating. I do. I mean, even though obviously if you get scratched or pushed or a mark, something like that, it is scary, definitely, you know, but I personally find it fascinating. I mean, what do you guys think? Does it scare you guys, or is it fascinating? I mean, being researchers and, you know, what do you guys?
My first reaction is to ask them what they want. Like, okay, you got my attention. What do you want?
Yeah.
And, you know, that was pretty much generally the conversation that we were having in the room. It's like, all right, we're all here. You have our attention.
Yep.
Tell us what you want. We've got everything running.
Wow.
We still have, I haven't had a chance to go through it yet that far to see what we've got. I don't know if Gene's picked up anything.
Not from that room, no.
No.
No, it was weird though. When I was in there with Ed, I was actually okay the second time around. But that first time when we were doing the walkthrough, it was almost like I could feel where the old wall had been before it was taken down. I was just walking through doing my baseline, and as soon as I crossed a certain spot, I just felt sick. almost like I had eaten something bad. And I just had to get out of there immediately. And as soon as I left that room, it was over. It was done.
Wow.
And I have brothers, so I have a strong stomach. So
hey, to be in the paranormal, I guess you want to know what? You have to be strong anyway. So
yeah,
brothers could definitely come in part there. That's great. That is
a lot of cold activity up there.
Hold on one sec. Hey, John, you want to work the camera for me? Because my phone, there you go. Hey, I don't mean to step out for 1 second. I got to step out for 1 second to take care of something. John and Robin, continue for me. But first, I want to say hello to Liz. Everyone, Liz says hello. She says hi. She all said hi. So we just want to shout out to her real quick and say hello to back. And I will be right back, you guys. Just go ahead and continue the conversation. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
So now he's gone. We should talk about all the good stuff that happened.
I heard that.
Busted.
I was actually just gonna ask you myself, because I was at a location before in a place over here called Huddersfield, where I experienced the and I don't normally experience it at all, but the sickness feeling. It's like I go into an investigation and nothing usually bothers me. You know, the dark doesn't bother me. Any spirits or ghosts doesn't bother me. You know, any poltergeist activity and stuff like that doesn't bother me. But I came across this feeling where I was starting to feel a bit sort of weak and dizzy and feeling a little bit sick. And I knew that I had to get out of the building, although I didn't want to. And when I left the building and sat for 5 minutes, I was absolutely fine again. But then you have the decision, do you want to go back in again or do you not? I did want to go back in personally, but I was advised against it because of what happened before.
Yeah, I've never had been touched or felt sickness, you know, and I've done a lot of home locations, and you know, the only thing that really scares me is snakes. Like the spirits and ghosts, nothing won't scare me, but if I see a snake, that's it. Just can't imagine that.
No, the fastest way to clear our team out of a building is to yell roach.
Yeah, it's weird because I've had everything. I've been pushed, I've been hit, I've had things thrown at me, you know, and it's just that sickness feeling. I heard people talking about it before, but I never actually had came across it until that time. And it's a really weird feeling because although you feel sick and stuff, it's not the norm.
And there's a lot of different factors that it could be. And even I get it from time to time. There could be changes in the pressure. There could be changes, even temperature changes can make you feel off. There is one effect, and it's the strangest thing, and it does contribute to a sense of dizziness. If you are in a room and you see windows, but those windows are not a perfect 90 degrees, your eyes are trying to justify that, and it creates a sense of dizziness. If you're in a room where the walls or the angles are not 90 degrees and your eyes are trying to square things out, it can actually create like a funhouse effect where you're off balance. So there's that option.
Oh, Jane, your picture was just jumping there. Did you notice that? Anyone?
I didn't see it.
Your picture went funny when you started to talk a minute ago.
Okay, well, right there, that was me shaking the desk to test
No,
it.
no, before that, it was like a couple of lines went like that, and then it went off again.
I didn't see it on my side.
Paranormal activity. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm not allowed to bring it home. But yeah, there's especially, and we actually ran into that a lot at Bobby Mackey's, between the mildew, the stale alcohol, the even the infrasound, the EMF. But once you, and that's what all of the equipment we carry is for. Once you rule all that out, what you're left with is, that's when it's paranormal. It's like, who is doing this to me, or what is doing this to me, or am I picking up on something residual?
Yeah. It was a care home that we were in. It was an abandoned care home, like a nursing home. And we went up to the middle floor, and there was an old stair lift. And I was sitting on the chair, looking across the landing, and I could see the spirit of this old woman, because I can sometimes see them. And I could see the spirit of this old woman, and I was telling the rest of the team about this woman and stuff like that. And I actually said to her, could you lead me to your room? Because there's quite a few different bedrooms. And I was able to guide my team towards it and walk into this bedroom, and it was done as like in women's colours, so it was like a woman's bedroom. But I'm beginning to wonder, was it her that was, because she was interacting with me and letting me know that she was there and what room she was in, was she also letting me know that she obviously wasn't well and maybe affected me that way?
That is a possibility, and it may not have even been a decision to do that. You may have just been picking up on something that she was experiencing in her life.
Yeah.
So, so you said you have a big paranormal team. How many members are in your group?
On the whole team?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't even
We're
know.
down to like 4 or 5 now, I think.
Okay. All right.
Because
I thought it was more than that.
Chris and Lori both had to pull out.
Oh, okay.
Christine is on hiatus. She's supposed to be coming back, Christina. But right now, the active ones are myself, Gene, Cindy, and our trainee, Anna. My brother is going to start joining us when he can. Just depending on how we link it, because he's a truck driver too, so it just depends on where we cross paths at.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Gettysburg?
I just got back from there.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I drove through it without realizing it.
I didn't really get to investigate. I was actually on my way to investigate the Mount Washington in New Hampshire. And I've always wanted to see Gettysburg. And I just happened to be driving through Pennsylvania. I saw a sign that said Gettysburg, and I said, oh, I'm not missing this. And I said, you know what? I just want to pull off. I just want to take some pictures. I just want to see it. And I think we were there for 5 hours. So we were a bit late getting to New Hampshire. So I think we ended up staying outside of Albany that night. We were supposed to be in New Hampshire that night. But it was worth it. It's a humbling experience just seeing, you read about it in books, you see it on the maps, you have no idea how large it is.
Right.
Now, of course, being the investigator that I am, I could not resist taking a recorder with me. And we stopped at Little Round Top. We stopped. And the Park Service has a sense of humor, by the way. The porta potties are all blue and gray. So, but we pulled off there, and there was just a Park Service ranger there. He was doing something, so we walked the opposite direction from him. I don't know. He was sweeping, raking, something. I don't know. So we walked away from him so that he wouldn't see what we were doing. And we started asking questions, walking around, and didn't really get much. And then all of a sudden I heard a snare drum.
Oh, wow.
And it was tapping out a beat. And we actually heard it with our ears. And it was tapping out a beat. And it went tap, 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 tat-a-ta-tap. And then it was over.
Wow.
And we did get it recorded.
That's awesome.
So I immediately ran down and I asked the park ranger, I said, are there any reenactors here? Is there anybody, that might be practicing with a drum? And he says, not today, but, we'll have some reenactors here tomorrow.
Wow.
There you are.
Can't explain it.
So let me ask you guys this. What do you think spirits are? You just pure energy, or, I mean, what based on all your research and science, I have my own theories. What do you think spirits are?
That is such a wide. that is like such a wide.
It's a loaded question.
Wide question, because the canvas behind what a spirit possibly could be ranges from being just a natural energy phenomenon to being, a supreme being. I mean, there's so many theories that you can follow depending on, your religious, sociological, ethical beliefs that right now we don't have the data to establish exactly what these spiritual beings are. There's no way to categorize exactly what they are. And that's primarily why we all do this, because we want to know what they are.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Yeah.
Now, the parapsychological theories behind it is, now, from a parapsychological stance, ESP has been proven. The data has been tested in laboratory settings and published and replicated around the world. So through science, ESP has been proven. And the idea behind it is the survival hypothesis, where if your brain in life has the ability to reach out beyond your physical body, then that ability is what is left behind when your body dies. And so that consciousness that is left behind, they call it the survival hypothesis. They know, basically they've established, okay, we think that that's your consciousness being left behind, but we don't know why or how. And that's what they're still pursuing.
Yeah, because I do a lot of spirit box sessions here in my home, and I talk to, I've talked to numerous famous people, and even had a spirit in the beginning of January predict, who was going to win the Super Bowl. I should have put money on it, but I didn't. So I mean, it went down to the player. Like it told me the player that won the Super Bowl, and I was just like, what are the odds of that? And it's just amazing. Especially working on a cold case. I'm helping somebody with a cold case right now, and I've done 17 sessions, and every session I ask, who murdered you, and they always say the same person. So it's really good. So, as far as that consciousness level, I don't know if they embark with our energy, to get more strength, or if it's the electromagnetic fields. Ever since I added more speakers, the voices got clearer. So, the magnets with the field and stuff, it's just crazy to think about.
I will have to try that.
The more speakers you use, I'm telling you, you'll get a lot clearer responses. So.
I do have a question for you, Gene and Edward. But before I do, AJ actually forgot at the start. I want to give a shout out to AAP's Variety channel. They throw a lot of people our way, and we do the same with them. And Pocket Watch that's commented there, they're from AAP as well. So a big shout out to them. But I want to ask you, and anybody that knows me and will know if they watched the podcast last week, one on my bucket list is the Winchester Mystery House. Have you been there?
No, I have not.
It's on my bucket list.
Ed, have you been there?
It's really kind of garbled right now. I'm having trouble understanding what he's saying.
The Winchester Mystery House, have you been there?
The Winchester House?
Yeah. San Diego.
No, I've never been to the Winchester House.
Okay. No, but the theory is that there was a lot of spirit work being done before Sarah Winchester passed away. And the idea behind it is that spirits were either conjured or summoned into the home before she passed. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it's active, but it's also such a strange home that it could be, you know, just sensationalized through people's imaginations. I
Yeah,
would really love to
I've read
find
up on it quite a bit. She used to do seances herself in her bedroom when she was alive, and apparently, if you go into the bedroom and do a seance when you're there, she can actually appear in the room because from what I've read anyway, that she was that into it and that interested in it that she will basically come through and as if she's watching you doing it because she's so interested in it. So I don't know whether that is or not, but I'd love to go there and try it.
Now, the history that I've read said that in order to stay ahead, because she was trying, the reason the house was built is she was trying to outrun the demons of her husband's legacy.
Yeah.
Basically all the people who were killed by the Winchester rifle. And from what I've read, she actually slept in a different bedroom every night to stay ahead of the spirits. So now I don't know which one is true, whether she had a designated bedroom or not.
Right.
Now it's a very old experiment. It's called the Phillips experiment. And it's where a group of people who believe in the same idea can actually create a spirit through that idea. So if the house itself has given enough people reason to believe that something else exists there, whether it be from Sarah's seances or whether it's Sarah herself, and with it being a huge tourist attraction, if people are walking in expecting it to be haunted, they could be conjuring it by themselves.
Yeah.
So Liz
Quite possibly.
she has to go real quick. So thank you, Liz, for tuning in and
Thank
saying
you.
hi. Appreciate it. Thank you, Liz. Go ahead, Robin. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it is quite possible that could happen, but it's one of them things. Every time you read up about it, there's something different. So it's obviously probably just go there and experience for yourself what's there and see what you get yourself, isn't it?
It's on my bucket list. I've compiled a database of every known haunted location in the United States, and I'm going to hit as many as I can before I die. And I might keep going after I die.
No, yeah.
We have a contract.
You
have a contract.
Yes. So actually that was Houdini that did that. Houdini had a list of words that he gave his wife. If he was able to consciously survive his death, that he would come back and give her a word. And only she knew what the word would be. And that was his way of telling her that it was possible to survive death. And she never heard from him again. So we're going to give that a try.
Yeah.
A lot of charlatans tried to do it, but they never could come up with the word that Dean had told his wife.
Right.
Yeah, no. So my brother passed away in October. He was a U.S. Marshal, and he was in pursuit and got in an accident. But with what we do, I'm able to talk to him whenever I want. I got some great sessions on my YouTube page with him too. But I know he's with me. I can feel him around me. I can feel my Army brothers, and and I know they're there helping me, get the research that I need. It's kind of a collaborative with all these spirits that I do, and I feel really lucky, to be doing what I'm doing. And I just try to inspire people, let them know that they're always with you, and it made it a smooth transition. So
Absolutely. And I'm sorry for your loss. That's terrible.
Well, thank you. Go ahead, Robin. You got any other questions?
No, it's not so much questions really. It's just like, I think one of the reasons that this field is so fascinating is because so many people have got so many different ideas and stuff as to what it is, and so many different ways of trying to contact what it is, and theories and stuff like that. And it's just hearing all the different stories and stuff. It's just, it amazes me that people have so many different beliefs, but I get towards the same thing. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So,
whether it be religions or whatever, it's all geared towards the same idea, really, isn't it?
Right. Most major religions are all just different facets of the same stone. So
yeah,
the base belief is the same, just the details change.
So do you guys have any huge investigations coming up? What do you have planned for your future this year?
Ooh. I'm still working on a platform, Para Atlas's database. So
right.
That's my primary goal, is to have a working beta at least by the end of the year. Something that I can have investigators and researchers like yourselves on and using. So that's my primary goal. If Ed messages me and says, "Hey, I've got this, let's go," I will probably jump in the van.
So how about it, Ed? Any places you're planning on?
Well, I would like us to really go back to Southwest Florida University.
Okay.
We had some really interesting stuff going on there that unfortunately we weren't able to go back to because of the whole COVID restrictions on a lot of stuff, and we weren't able to get into areas that where reports were made about different things going on. But where we were able to go to, Gene actually had a really neat conversation going on with two individuals. One seemed to be acknowledging her, and the other one seemed to be talking to the other. They was carrying on a conversation with the other individual.
No, I think they were both responding to us. It was, but they were both they were kind of responding differently. It was kind of sad, actually. One of them sounded. Now, Florida Southwestern University is built right over where the area where the Seminole Wars, Fort Delaney and Fort Harvey, that area would have been. So the Seminole Wars came right through here, especially the Second Seminole War. So the soldiers there may have been a soldier killed on the area, but people have reported seeing a soldier there. So when we were trying to reach out, we asked, is there anyone here who needs help? And we got a first voice that said yes, and a second voice that said no. And they were kind of fighting with each other. They were both answering, but I don't think they could hear each other.
That's
but
awesome.
The one kept saying, "Yes, please help me, please help." The other one said, "No, go away, you're dead." So one of them was begging for help, and the other one, I think we were scaring him because he may not have known that he had passed. He thought that we were the spirits. So, I mean, it was an amazing conversation.
Is this at a campus?
It's a really neat video recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we had some visual things going on, but of course, because we couldn't get into the buildings, we couldn't pursue them. So it's like, and then afterwards, we learned that there were things going on that we hadn't even been told about. So, because we want, I'd like us to be able to get back and be able to pursue those leads. And then, of course, Fort Myers Cemetery, which has treated us really, really well.
Are you sure? Okay, so Brief history. Fort Myers Cemetery is the reason Deion Sanders is as fast as he is.
Oh, yeah?
He had to, after practice every night when it got dark, he had to walk past the cemetery, and it scared him. So he would wait for a car to pass, and he would race the car to stay in the headlights.
Neon Deion Sanders.
So yes, he grew up here. But
That's awesome.
but the entities that Ed and I were chasing were not dead. They were drug dealers.
Oh, that was the second time.
They were using the cemetery.
So where can people check out your evidence? Do you guys have a website or a Facebook group, or why don't you shout it out real quick for us?
Overtheroadparanormal.com and Over the Road on YouTube.
Okay. All right.
So they are. So you can all connect up to that now and then see the evidence that they've caught.
And AJ will tell you that I resist using the word evidence all the time. Once in a while, I'll slip in to use it, but right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's all data. It's either sorry about that. I consider it data because we haven't reconstructed, we haven't replicated, and we haven't caught it on more than one piece of equipment at the same time. So right now it's just compelling data. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Robin, do you got anything else you wanna talk about?
I was gonna say, especially for Jean's benefit, because she's into the psychology of it. Do you still have those photos to hand, John, to pull up? The ones that I took.
Yeah, I should have them. Let me see.
The two that I'm talking about, the one that was manifesting and then coming towards me.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
We had
and just see what
we were at Ashmore Estates. I just did a preliminary scan over the video recordings that we had, and one really neat thing that we captured, Cindy, Elizabeth, and for some reason I just can't remember that girl's name, but they were our two tag-alongs. Elizabeth and this other girl were our tag-alongs. They were with Cindy, who's Jean's mother, and they were doing a DVP session up in this one separate bedroom, and I think I actually got the video clip on our Facebook page. The thunder clashes, the lightning flashes, the thunderclap, and then right after you hear on the recording a tiny voice going, "Let me out," and then you hear music playing.
I think that was me.
Wow.
I think that was me. We had a horrible storm that night, horrible thunderstorm. I mean, the winds, I thought the winds were going to knock down the whole building. The rain came pouring in through the third floor. It was terrible. And we got this lightning struck just right outside the building, and it blew the lights in the stairwell. And I hit the roof. I went through the ceiling. It was it was terrifying to be out there. So
I'm trying to find them, Robin. I think I moved them to my phone.
I was just if you're gonna say they can, I was gonna get Jean to have a quick look at them.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. I got them on the messenger. Hold on. So there's that one. Try to zoom in.
So this was in an abandoned hotel, Jean. This was in a function room of an abandoned hotel, and I picked up on the spirit of an old woman. Now you can see there's a pair of legs manifesting. I don't know if you can you see it clear enough?
I can, and I'm usually the first one to say, it's pareidolia. There's something on the screen. There's something on the camera. My husband's a professional photographer. Not professional. He's spends a lot of money on it though. And I don't have an answer for that. That's
here's
that's
the next one.
That's the next one. This is the same room about 5 seconds later. Now, the reason I'm going to say to you first, the reason that there's the red heat spots is because the original picture, it was a black figure. Now, to me, it's a figure that has his hand out on a walking stick. Now, I sent this picture to a friend of mine who is way into his photography, and he doesn't believe in the paranormal at all. And he said to me, I'll pull that picture apart and I'll prove to you that it's not paranormal. And he sent me that one back, and he says, I have no explanation for that.
Yeah, a lot of the people who are smarter than me can look into the metadata, see if the picture's ever been edited, see if the picture's been overlaid. That one is very interesting. In fact, some of the camera companies, Nikon, Canon, Polaroid especially, you can send it to them and say, I got this in one of your, with a picture I took with one of your cameras. Can you tell me what I'm looking at? And they'll analyze it.
It'd be cool, Robin, is if when she gets this site set up, send her the original. Even if you wanted to send her the original and let her husband try to mess with it.
Absolutely. The original is basically the exact same picture, but it's just a complete black figure. Where when he pulled that one apart, all he got was heat spots on it.
And that could be the energy,
almost like it's a void in the.
It looks to me like it's an old person that's holding a walking stick, got their hand out on a walking stick.
Sorry, guys. Hold on. Yeah. You can see the walking stick kind of. Let me switch it to the full screen here. So you can see the legs, 2 legs, the arm sticking out, holding something, head, shoulders. I mean, this is an excellent capture.
It really is. And you can almost see a bit of a hunch.
Yeah,
that was literally 5 seconds after the first one, which would have been on that picture now, would have been to the right hand side of that figure on the chairs.
So there's the first one. So that was 5 seconds after that. So it's like he manifested there to the ground and started walking.
Yeah.
But I challenge you, Robin. You should send her the original so we can make her.
I will do.
So were these taken with film or digital?
This, believe it or not, this was taken on a mobile phone.
Okay. So yeah, if you can send me the originals, I will have him take a look at them and see what he can pull out, because those are some of the best I've seen. And like I said, I'm usually the first to say I love debunking orbs. I hate orbs.
Oh yeah. I don't even mess with the orbs.
You can tell when it's a bug, when it's dust, when it's moisture. So I like to pick apart pictures, and honestly, these are great. I like these.
The one thing that I will say about them pictures again, on that one with the full figure, at the very back of the room behind it is my mother-in-law, because she's part of my team, but she's not casting no shadow to make a shadow with that.
Well, she has a light in her hand. If she was casting a shadow, it would be on the opposite side of her.
Right there, yeah.
Exactly.
Here.
And the other picture, John, if you go back to the other one for a second, he wasn't at the door at that time. She was out in the other room, and she was coming through the door. So it doesn't explain. That one's better when you actually have it sent to you and you can zoom in, because you can see more. It just basically fades to nothing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I say you do it, Robin. Send her those photos.
Yeah.
You know?
What's your Facebook? Is it just Jane? I'll send them to you on Messenger after this.
Jean Grey or Para Atlas.
Right, no problem. Yeah, I'll send you the two that he showed you, and there'll be a third one where the figure's completely black. That was the original. And
Yeah,
if you can pick them apart, please do, because I've showed them to dozens of people, and nobody's got an answer for me.
well, I mean, I can look at them from a parapsychological standpoint, and also, like I said, my husband has some of the best camera gear I've ever seen, and he's into software, so he can look at it from both sides.
Yeah, please
I
do.
think I put them on the Igor page too, in the Talking with the Source page. I think they're on there too.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the three of them anyway, because I don't think the original's on there.
No, I don't think you sent the original.
Yeah. But I was just interested because when people are into all that, I like showing them photos and saying, because nobody yet has said to me, this is what this is. And, you know what I mean? Everybody's just like, we can't explain that. And the more the people say that, you're like, whoa, we've caught something here.
Yeah.
I saw one recently from a very famous parapsychologist, and it was like, really? I mean, still pictures don't do it for me a lot. I have to see moving evidence. I have to see something.
This is what I use.
There's a blast from the past.
Can I just ask you, Gene, while you're on, because I'm very intrigued about this experiment. I was told, actually, our sponsor, Nigel, come up with this one. He reckons that a lot of spirit, when they won't show themselves necessarily right in front of you because of the strong EMF and stuff that comes off them. He reckons that if you're walking along and you feel a spirit, if you put your camera over your shoulder and take a picture, it'll be behind you most times.
The current theory is that it's completely optional to the spirit, because when you take a picture, you are sending out, basically, you're sending out light, and it is that shutter is capturing what it sees. If the spirit doesn't have a physical form, then there's nothing to capture. So when we do capture phenomena, especially like what you just showed, that is, and again, this is all in theory, that is the spirit or the entity putting themselves there. And, it's a form of basically a form of extrasensory perception. It's a form of telepathy. They are putting themselves in the image. So if they would like to be seen in that image when the picture is taken, they can be. If you're asking for a voice recording, or you're asking for an answer, they don't have vocal cords with which to answer, so they are putting themselves in that recording.
That frequency, using the frequency ranges.
Right. So if taking a picture over your shoulder, I mean, I think it's up to the entity at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe they don't like you looking at them when you're taking the picture. You'd be like, I'm not going to look at you. So I've never tried it behind my back. I can't aim very good with a Polaroid.
Yeah, I think if somebody was pointing a camera over their shoulder at me, I'd be creeped out.
Especially if you saw something. All right,
guys.
And that's part of the whole trick with what we're doing, is because we're relying on equipment as designed for, like a camera is designed for taking a picture of scenery, of people, anything that reflects light. So when you're dealing with something that doesn't have a corporeal form, there actually has to be a conscious decision for that light energy to go out and be captured by the camera. Or, you know, the same thing with the voice recording. You know, we may not hear it, but there still has to be some sort of frequency. There has to be some sort of vibration for the digital recorder or the tape recorder to pick up. Which, why I get really persnickety with people that say, you know, we've got evidence of this, we've got evidence of that, because we really don't have the equipment that's designed to prove that, you know, to pick up what's beyond our physical realm of existence. And we don't have a definitive way of explaining what's beyond the physical form. I mean, we can, even the light that comes from the sun, it has some sort of physical presence behind it. I mean, it's measurable, it moves things, radiation. So when we're talking about something that's beyond the living, we have to get a little bit more creative.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I it's been about an hour. You know, I appreciate you guys coming on. So,
Yeah, but definitely do.
thank you so much. And keep in touch. We'd love to have you on again. You know, if you go back, you know, to the Florida University or, you know, down there, you know, let us know. We'd love to hear what you guys found. And, you know, I hope your husband can debunk Robin. I'm really looking forward to that. So.
I'll put him to work.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And I'm going to put you backstage here. So
No problem. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you again.
All right, Robin. Great show today. Thank you
Definitely.
to OTR of showing up there. And, you know, a shout out again to Nigel for his ghost boxes and sponsoring the show. Sorry to everyone for AJ taking off. You know, it's kind of an odd time for the podcast, so I understand. You know, he's got errands and stuff. So,
and just once more, John, before you go, just another. I know I've already done it once, but another shout out to AAP's Variety channel, because he does promote us and he does send a lot of viewers our way.
Yeah,
so
thank you. You know, so check out our YouTubes, check out our guest YouTubes, and we'll see you guys next week from Talking with the Source. This is JK47 signing out.
I'm Hopper Paranormal signing out.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.